as I'm going home and I'm looking at these trees and I'm seeing the branches, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, is God painting a picture for me to remember all that's involved here? And so this morning, Bill likes my paper plates, but I had to take notes and I wanted to write them fast, and there was a paper plate right there and I liked it. So I just did. So I decided to just go on an adventure, see what all I could find as far as trees in the Bible. So this is real quick, but it's going to cover some space in a minute of things that I wouldn't help but note. Okay, so you got Genesis 1, trees show up first thing, and also you would note that the word earth itself ends with a zadik, because it even sounds like, if you were to hear it in Hebrew, the word earth sounds like etz, which is the word for tree. Not accident, in my opinion, because if you think about all the trees that you would see. Genesis 2, right? God points out two different trees. What has he got? The tree of life and a tree of knowledge of good and evil, right? And certainly a lot of Genesis 3 has to do with some eating of the fruit, the trees. Genesis 6, what's Noah's ark built out of? Which, by the way, the word for wood and tree are the same word in Hebrew. So it's built out of gopher trees, whatever those might be. In Genesis 18, when the three people come to visit Abraham, right, that we believe are the Trinity, or I believe it anyway, they sit under the shade of a what? Tree. Now, one of the things I hadn't thought about actually till this morning, when Abraham went to offer up his son, what was he going to use for fuel? Like, oh, by the way, would be all the burnt offerings in order to make things right. What were they going to do? They were going to use wood. I don't know if you've ever thought about it. I was just thinking about it this morning. And in Genesis 40, when we talked about, Joseph, guess what happened to the candlestick maker or whatever guy was that he got hung on a tree, right? I don't know if you've ever thought about it, but Moses' Aaron's rod, however you want to look at, you might know it's an almond branch. Once again, a tree, right? So interestingly, when you start to see the judgments that are in Exodus that he starts to put out on the Egyptians, and later you'll see it in Revelation, what's he wiping out? He's wiping out trees. Seriously, it has to do with the judgments. And then Exodus 15, I hadn't even thought about this one. You remember when the water was bitter? What made it sweet? It didn't say he threw in a little branch. It says he threw in the whole tree. Right? It was, that water was made sweet with a tree. Right? And then obviously you got the Ark of the Covenant was made out of wood. All the poles for the tabernacle, they're all zadik. They're ayin zadiks, which an ayin is the letter that would mean eye. And so it's like you're seeing righteousness when you see a tree.